Hello, my name is Amal Abdul Kadir, and my topic is the forgotten voices of Indigenous peoples in the Gulf Area Master Plan. So, why did I choose this topic? I chose this topic because of my deep interest in exploring how land use, cultural heritage, and environmental justice intersect, particularly in relation to Indigenous peoples. I think that a lot of people forget that there used to be Indigenous people living around this lake, and I think that they don't really have much influence over current events. I'm interested to know what some Indigenous people's perspectives are on the matter, and then these are just two images of Lake Hiawatha. So, what is the Hiawatha Golf Course Area Master Plan? The Lake Hiawatha Golf Course Area Master Plan is a project in Minneapolis designed to enhance the area around the lake. I believe that it focuses on these three main goals: restoring the environment, addressing flooding, improving water quality, and restoring wetlands. 2, expanding recreational spaces, creating more opportunities for walking, biking, and community activities. And then 3, increasing accessibility, making the park more community friendly. Overall, the plan aims to create a healthier, more welcoming, and accessible park that benefits everyone in the community. And then this image right here is a visual representation of Lake Hiawatha, the area master plan. So, here's my central question. Does Lake Hiawatha's updated plan address the rights and cultural heritage of Indigenous people? As we look at the development plan for Lake Hiawatha, we must ask ourselves, does it consider the deep historical, cultural, and spiritual significance of the land to the Dakota people? For the Dakota, the land known as Bedote is not just a recreational area, it is sacred. The Dakota have had little say in the land's development over the years, and it's important that their voices are heard now, especially as the area is being reshaped. The key question is, will the updated master plan truly respect and incorporate the cultural heritage of the Dakota people, or will their history remain ignored? So, why is this question important? The Hiawatha Golf Course sits on the land that is we must remember that the Hiawatha Golf Course sits on the land that is deeply sacred to the Dakota people. And it is not just a location, it is a part of their heritage and identity. The Hiawatha Golf Course sits on the land which is sacred to the Dakota people. For them, Bedote is more than a place. It is the birthplace of their people, the site of important ceremonies, and the center of their spiritual practices. Historically, Dakota voices have been excluded from decisions about the land's use, whether for the development of the golf course or the current master plan. This exclusion has lasting consequences as decisions about sacred land should not be made without Indigenous input. The land itself is a part of the Dakota identity, and any development must acknowledge the fundamental connection. And this is just that eye-opening image of the departure of Hiawatha. So, the sacredness of the land to the Dakota people. The Hiawatha Golf Course area is located on the land known as Bedote. As we see below in this image, this is just a visual representation of the map of the Bedote memory map. So, the Hiawatha Golf Course area is located on the land known as Bedote, a place of deep spiritual and cultural significance to the Dakota people. For the Dakota, Bedote is not just a geographic location, it's the site where their ancestors lived, gathered, and celebrated their culture. The land is sacred, woven with stories, traditions, and spiritual connections that have been passed through generations. So I decided to look at this website, this one eye-opening website called Dakota Elder Weighs In on the Debate Over Hiawatha Gulf by Tisha M. Christensen. It's about an elder named Dr. Mato Numpa. Dr. Mato Numpa is a Dakota elder, and he's emphasized the importance of honoring the sacredness of the space in the planning urban developments. According to Dr. Numpa, any development on this land should respect its spiritual significance, integrating it into the community's future while acknowledging its deep cultural roots. It's also crucial to recognize that this land was never ceded by the Dakota people. This land was taken without their consent, and it continues to hold historical and spiritual meaning to the community. So when planning for its future, it is essential that the Dakota voice is centered not just as a courtesy, but as a matter of respect and justice. So, the updated Hiawatha Golf Course Plan and Restoration Efforts. The updated Hiawatha Golf Course Master Plan includes several efforts toward ecological restoration, like improving water management and restoring wetlands to enhance the health of the area. The plan also acknowledges the historical significance of the Dakota people. However, we need to ask, is this plan truly restorative, or does it only offer a superficial acknowledgement of Dakota history? While it's positive that the plan does reference the Dakota people, we must consider whether these acknowledgments go beyond symbolic gestures. Will they actually lead to meaningful change for the Dakota community, or will the restoration efforts primarily benefit the broader public? For the plan to be truly restorative, it's crucial that Indigenous voices are involved not just as the beginning of the process, but throughout the entire development. The Dakota community must be seen as active participants. Their concerns, traditions, and spiritual connections to the land must be integrated into the long-term vision. Ongoing involvement is necessary to ensure that this project respects the land's sacredness and addresses the needs of the community in a meaningful way. So, the Bdote Memrap is an interactive tool designed to help reclaim and preserve the lost history of the Dakota people. Um, This map brings back knowledge of the sacred places that are integral to Dakota culture, allowing both the Dakota community and the wider public to reconnect with these important sites. One of the key areas highlighted by the map is the Hiawatha Golf Course, which sits on the land that was once a part of Bdote. The Hiawatha area is not just a recreational space, it is deeply connected to the Dakota people's roots. By using the Bdote memory, we can better understand the importance of the land beneath the golf course in the larger context of Dakota heritage, and that has been overlooked for so long. This map plays a crucial role in reclaiming Dakota history and ensuring that their voices are heard in the conversation about land use. And then this is just a link to introduction video to the Bdote memory map. Colonial narratives in early culture and urban development. On the website, I came across Ulrich's analysis of a pictorial story of Hiawatha 1904 to 1908 illustrates how early popular culture romanticized and distorted the lives of Indigenous people. These early deceptions didn't capture the full complexity of Indigenous cultures or their experiences. Instead, they often represented an idealized or stereotypical view, which has contributed to harmful colonial narratives. As we still look at sometimes today, these distorted portrayals continue to shape how we understand Indigenous history. As stereotype portrayals, early popular cultures, books, movies often oversimplified Indigenous cultures. Example is Indigenous people seen as noble savages or primitive. These basically had an impact on the Dakota people, basically erasing their native cultures. Another one is sacred land ignored. Land like Bdote, Hiawatha, Gold Coast was taken without consent, and its spiritual importance was overlooked. The result now is that we've forgotten the true significance of these places to Indigenous communities. And so this just it's like an ongoing matter, and we really need to work on this. So the challenges in creating real change. While their master plan includes ecological restoration, we must always ask we must also ask, will these efforts address the historical injustice done to the Dakota people? Ecological restoration is important, but it is not enough to right the wrongs of colonization. Restoring relationships with the land is just as crucial as restoring nature. For this to happen, Indigenous communities must be central to the process, not just as a taken gesture, but as an active, equal partners in decision making. The Dakota people have had a deep spiritual connection to this land, and their perspective should shape how it is used moving forward toward a more inclusive future. Real reconciliation requires more than symbolic actions. It involves including Indigenous communities to the planning and development process as equal partners. Cities must engage with Indigenous peoples throughout the entire process, not just as the beginning, but during implementation and beyond. This means ensuring that urban planning reflects the cultural values of Indigenous communities, incorporating their needs and knowledge into the land's future. The master plan for the Hiawatha Golf Course is a step forward, but it is only the beginning to create real lasting change. Indigenous voices must be heard and respected at every stage. why this all matters. As we wrap up, it's clear that this issue matters on many levels. The land surrounding Lake Hiawatha is sacred to the Dakota people, and to ignore this sacredness to harm not only their history and culture, but their ongoing connection to this land. The Dakota people and other indigenous communities carry a wealth of knowledge that can help protect and restore the land, not just for today, but for future generations. By including indigenous voices in the planning and development of spaces like the Hiawatha Golf Course, we ensure that these voices are heard and respected, giving them fairness they've long been denied. This is about more than just recognition. It's about creating a future when the rights, culture, and history of indigenous communities are honored and reflected in urban development. Finally, acknowledging the past is essential to healing and rebuilding trust. Only through this process can we begin to address the wrongs of the past and work together toward a more inclusive, respectful, and just future. This is not just about the land use, but it's about building a foundation for mutual respect and collaboration that honors everyone. And here are all my sources. Thank you so much for your time.